Listen. Practice. Speak. Practice makes you perfect.
How you handle meetings, right through to email, phone calls, even dealing with tricky stuff like complaints.
Plus networking, presentations, even things you might not immediately think of, like attire and time management. It's pretty comprehensive.
It really looks at how all these communication pieces shape your professional journey.
Okay, so jumping right in then. As we went through these sources, some fundamental principles kept coming up again and again. They seem to be the real foundation, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. What's really interesting is how much emphasis there is on genuine courtesy and respect, like across the board.
It's not just be nice, is it?
No, not at all. The sources frame it as foundational for building positive relationships, but also practically they highlight how it actively prevents misunderstandings, stops things escalating.
That makes a lot of sense. It sets a positive tone right from the start, diffuses tension before it even starts.
Exactly.
Another big one that jumped out was clarity and conciseness. They really hammer home being clear, brief, direct.
Absolutely. It's about valuing time, everyone's time, including yours. Get to
Yeah.
the point, avoid confusion, save time.
Yeah.
It just signals professionalism.
Yeah, efficiency. And it wasn't just about strict rules either.
Yeah.
There was a lot on authenticity, sincerity.
Mm-hmm. The idea that being genuine, showing some warmth, real interest in others, that builds stronger connections than just like robotically following etiquette rules.
Just the human touch.
Yeah, people respond to that. And tied right into that is active listening. It's popped up constantly.
Oh, yeah, that was everywhere.
The value of actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, acknowledging what you heard, checking you understood, it's presented as absolutely key for rapport, for resolving issues.
Because the other person feels genuinely heard. That's powerful.
It is. And then adaptability,
Mhm.
being able to adjust your style.
Right. Based on the context, who you're talking to, cultural norms.
Yeah, one size definitely does not fit all here. And finally, consistency. That came through strongly too.
Applying these things consistently.
Exactly. Polite manners, professional techniques, doing it over time is how you build that reputation, that trust. It's the steady application that pays off.
Okay, so those are the core ideas. Let's see how they play out in specific situations. Maybe start with that critical moment. First impressions and introductions.
Right. And the sources, they really lean into that genuine courtesy idea from the first second.
Yeah, I talk about combining a confident stance, standing tall with a warm greeting. How that doesn't just project confidence, it actually sparks dialogue, makes people feel comfortable talking to you.
And eye contact. Not just looking confident, but the sources frame it as a signal of trustworthiness. Professionalism, like, I'm giving you my full attention.
It's nonverbal respect. Posture, too, conveys confidence, respect, and being clear, concise in your introduction helps people immediately get who you are.
Exactly. And memorable greetings. They aren't about being flashy. The sources say it's authenticity, friendly tone, using the right words.
The handshake, using their name, fosters respect instantly.
Simple stuff like courtesy words, please, thank you, and prompt gratitude, costs nothing, pays dividends.
And the genuine smile creates a welcoming vibe, signals you're approachable.
Makes people feel okay starting a conversation with you. A concise self-intro is key too, helps people actually remember your role.
Right, without getting lost in the weeds. Brevity plus clarity equals effective communication of who you are.
And showing enthusiasm for collaboration, that signals team player right away. Builds rapport quickly.
Yes, and showing real interest in what they think, their perspective, that fosters immediate connection, opens the door for synergy later.
The sources suggest using open-ended questions specifically for that, to get broader, more engaging discussions going.
Thoughtful questions definitely show you're listening, that you have a respectful style.
And giving relevant background info up front streamlines the conversation, avoids misunderstandings by building that shared context early, saves time.
Adapting your tone based on cultural norms. We mentioned it earlier, but it's crucial in introductions.
Absolutely vital. That awareness avoids accidental offense, builds trust, especially in international business. Acknowledging different styles shows respect, shows you've done your homework.
And refining these skills, maybe through practice, role-playing, makes it feel natural.
Right. And the sources suggest using active voice when you state your objectives. Direct sentences convey intentions efficiently.
So, a professional intro. Succinct, focused, key responsibilities, expertise. Straightforward, memorable.
Yeah. And here's a subtle but important point they make. balancing confidence with humility.
Ah, that's interesting. How so?
It distinguishes you, shows respect for others' expertise while still asserting your own value. It's not being meek, it's being secure enough to acknowledge others, shows real class.
Okay, moving from hellos into the actual flow of conversations, etiquette in discussions and meetings.
First thing, addressing people respectfully throughout. Keeps the tone constructive, stops small misunderstandings blowing up.
And when you need to jump in, courteous interjections, right? Like, if I may. Or just simple, excuse me.
Exactly. Maintains harmony, signals politely you want the floor. And building on that, this is a great tip, summarizing what someone just said before you add your point.
Oh, I like that. It shows you were really listening.
Totally. And it softens any potential disagreement. You're validating them first.
Using tentative language, too, like perhaps or might, reduces confrontation.
Yeah, avoid sounding too absolute, like you're challenging them directly. And clarifying your intent, I'd like to add to that, not you're wrong, framing it as collaboration.
Yeah.
That avoids defensiveness, keeps it productive.
Gentle humor sometimes. Tactfully used.
In work, yeah. Diffuse tension, remind everyone you're on the same team, but it has to be appropriate.
Rephrasing complex points simply. Good for smooth transitions if things get bogged down.
Definitely helps clarify, especially when time is tight.
Well-chosen words, thoughtful timing, shows respect for everyone's contribution, make sure no one feels steamrollered.
Right. Respecting each speaker's moment and asking quick, polite questions to confirm you understood correctly prevents jumping to the wrong conclusions, shows you're checking.
And if you do interject, deferring back to the original speaker afterwards, returning the floor, shows you still value their input.
Exactly. Demonstrates respect. The sources also advise, gently, not interrupting personal stories unless they're way off track. Let people finish anecdotes. Shows empathy.
Good point. If a discussion is dragging on, though, a gentle reminder about the agenda or deadline can refocus things.
Without being abrupt, a concise reminder is usually enough. And using inclusive words, we, our, fosters unity, especially in debates. Collective language helps.
And those little verbal cues, I understand, I see, builds rapport, shows active engagement even when you're quiet.
And practicing these polite interruptions regularly, the sources say it actually enhances your professional credibility over time, builds that reputation for being respectful, but also contributing effectively.
Okay, let's shift to presenting, getting up in front of people. What's the advice there?
Start strong with a concise overview, captivates the audience, gives them a roadmap. A clear agenda helps them anticipate points, stay organized mentally.
Posture pacing. Convey composure, reinforce trust. You look and sound like you know your stuff.
Right. Articulating clearly, varying your tone, avoids that deadly monotony, keeps attention.
And slides. Less is more, apparently. Minimal text, impactful visuals that support what you're saying.
Exactly. Let your voice be the star. Bullet point overload kills presentations, including relevant data, success stories. That reinforces credibility, makes it persuasive, provides proof.
Real-life examples connect emotionally, establish authenticity, and pausing strategically after key points lets the information sink in, prompts reflection.
Maintaining moderate eye contact across the room is also key. Promotes inclusivity, helps you connect. Scanning the audience makes it feel like a conversation.
Energetic gestures, concise speech boosts confidence. Avoiding repetitive movements. Filler words like or like too much projects polish.
Yeah, practice helps with the fillers. A brief summary at the end reinforces the main takeaways, makes them stick.
And inviting questions at the right times encourages collaboration, clarifies uncertainties.
That open dialogue enhances understanding, fosters respect. A little humor or a personal anecdote can work, but mindfully. Shows approachability without distracting.
Anticipating objections. Addressing them confidently, maybe even proactively. Leaves less room for confusion, shows you're prepared.
Definitely. And concluding with a strong call to action makes it memorable.
People remember what you asked them to do.
Exactly. So make that final point count. Refining your style through practice, rehearsal, builds that poise. Timing, projection, self-assurance.
Rehearsing with peers for feedback. Invaluable. Clarity, pacing, emphasis. Constructive critiques really sharpen delivery. Makes you look confident, prepared.
Right. These techniques turn presentations from something scary into something persuasive and professional.
Okay, changing gears again. Networking. Building connections outside those formal meetings. What's the approach?
The sources are really clear on this. Build genuine connections, don't just collect cards.
Quality over quantity.
Totally. Meaningful interactions create lasting impressions, lead to actual collaborations later. Asking open-ended questions about their role, their expertise, sparks engaging conversation. Sincere curiosity uncovers synergy.
And sharing relevant insights, industry news, shows you're informed, interested, builds credibility, fosters mutual learning.
Offering help or resources without expecting an immediate payback. That's highlighted as a powerful trust builder. Generosity strengthens bonds way more than just tit for tat.
That's a great point. Mentioning your own projects in moderation highlights capabilities, but the focus should be on collaborative potential, right? Not just self-promotion.
Absolutely. It's give and take. And remembering specific details from past meetings. Small thing, big impact, shows you value their time, their words, builds trust.
Eye contact, positive body language, open posture, respectful gestures, helps others feel comfortable, encourages open communication.
And following up promptly after an event, email message, keeps the momentum going. A quick thank you, a personalized note, solidifies the connection while it's fresh.
LinkedIn gets a specific mention too, for staying visible, sharing updates.
Right. Engaging regularly shows you're active in your field. Scheduling brief catch-ups ensures relationships don't fade. Periodic chats reveal new developments.
Attending conferences, webinars,
Yeah.
broadens your network, refreshes perspectives. Both in-person and virtual stuff works.
And bringing back active listening again? Paraphrasing key points confirms understanding, affirms respect, builds rapport.
So integrating these strategies consistently, that's what builds a strong professional community.
Yeah, it's balancing authenticity with strategic thinking. Maximizing the value of every interaction. Thoughtful networking really sets you up for long-term success.
Okay, from face-to-face to written comms, email, big topic in the sources, best practices.
Number 1, concise, clear subject line helps recipients prioritize. Vague subjects, easily overlooked.
Clarity from the get-go, addressing them properly, double-checking names, titles. Respectful avoids easy mistakes.
Structuring with short paragraphs, using bullet points or lists. Improves readability, helps them respond efficiently.
State the purpose clearly right at the start, gives context, sets expectations, and maintaining that polite professional tone, even under pressure. Careful wording can diffuse tension.
Use an appropriate sign-off. Kind regards, sincerely, shows professionalism, and please, proofread. Typos undermine credibility instantly.
Avoid excessive exclamation marks or all caps. Keeps it calm. Subtle emphasis like bold or italics is fine if needed.
Right. And responding promptly, even just to acknowledge receipt, shows you value their message, creates reassurance.
Make sure your signature is up to date with current contact info too.
Good point. And just using please and thank you appropriately, basic courtesy goes a long way.
Avoid sarcasm or ambiguous humor. The sources caution strongly against this in email. No vocal cues makes jokes risky, easily misinterpreted.
Definitely. Keep threads organized by replying within the same chain. Helps everyone follow the context.
And verify attachments before sending. Seems obvious, but forgetting the file kills the message's effectiveness.
Precisely. Thorough checks preserve your image, keep communication flowing.
How about the phone? Professional phone etiquette.
Start strong. Answer with a polite greeting and your name. Establishes professionalism right away. Identifying yourself confirms they reach the right person. Builds confidence.
Speak at a moderate pace, enunciate clearly. Shows respect, prevents misunderstandings. Friendly yet formal tone hits the right balance.
Active listening cues again. I understand, I see. Encourages them to provide full info, assures them you're engaged.
Minimize background noise. Essential for focus. Taking brief notes helps retain info, and summarizing main points before hanging up ensures alignment, reduces mistakes later.
When putting someone on hold, explain why, thank them. Check in periodically if it's long. Don't just abandon them.
If transferring, announce it. Give context to your colleague. Abrupt transfers are jarring.
Voicemails.
Yeah.
Keep them concise. Name, reason, callback number, clear brief. Rambling messages get ignored.
Scheduling calls in advance shows respect for busy schedules. Unexpected calls can really disrupt workflow if you misdial. Quick apology, confirm the number, simple courtesy.
On difficult calls, stay calm, composed. Speaking softly but firmly prevents escalation, shows professionalism under pressure.
Let the caller finish their point, even if you disagree. Interrupting breeds defensiveness.
And always close cordially. Thank you for calling. Good speaking with you. Ends it on a positive note.
Yeah, that warm sign-off builds goodwill. Consistent phone courtesy builds that reliable reputation. Okay, handling complaints, a tough but vital area. How do the sources say to approach this constructively?
First step, acknowledge it immediately. shows empathy, willingness to help. A prompt, sincere apology, even before you know details, can diffuse anger right away.
Listening attentively without interrupting is key here. Builds trust, assures them their view matters. Rephrasing their problem back confirms you understood the core issue.
Providing clear explanations of possible solutions shows competence, accountability, transparency is appreciated.
And focusing on future prevention, not just fixing this one problem, shows long-term commitment. Reassures it won't happen again.
Keep the conversation calm, fact-based. Avoids arguments, steers towards resolution, not blame.
Offering compensation or alternatives when appropriate shows genuine concern. Tangible gestures can sometimes repair trust better than just words.
Ensuring follow-up on the agreed solution is critical. Check back, confirm satisfaction, shows dedication.
Documenting complaints helps spot recurring issues, refine processes. Data helps fix things at the source.
Responding consistently within set timeframes shows reliability. Involving relevant departments early speeds things up.
Maintaining respectful language, even facing harsh criticism, is crucial. A calm tone reflects emotional maturity.
Verify all details to avoid misplaced blame. Facts first. Restating next steps, timelines, clarifies expectations, reduces anxiety.
And importantly, thank them for raising it. Frame it as valuable feedback. Viewing complaints as opportunities can actually boost loyalty and reputation. Moving to the global stage, cultural awareness in international business, absolutely vital.
Researching cultural norms beforehand is step one. Prevents unintentional etiquette breaches. Knowing customs greetings, gestures, business cards shows respect.
Opening discussions by politely asking about local practices creates instant goodwill. People appreciate the effort.
When communicating across languages, speak slowly, clearly. Avoid jargon, idioms. Helps non-native speakers understand easily.
And encourage clarification proactively. Creates a supportive atmosphere, builds confidence despite language barriers.
Be mindful of time zones for virtual meetings. Rotate times fairly. Shows consideration.
Address people by correct titles, especially in hierarchical cultures. Ask about formality preferences. Shows respect for their structure.
Present info in varied formats. Slides, handouts, verbal explanations. Caters to different learning styles.
Include short breaks for cultural norms like prayer times or just personal needs. Respect dietary restrictions during catered events. Simple inclusivity.
Be aware of different communication styles, direct versus indirect. Adapt your approach to avoid misinterpretations.
Clarify decision-making processes, consensus or top-down. Aligns expectations in cross-cultural teams.
Avoid sensitive topics like politics or religion unless essential. Focus on shared business goals. Keeps it neutral. And conclude by recapping key actions. Ensures clarity on next steps for everyone.
The sources are clear. Consistent respect for cultural nuances elevates cross-border relationships. Successful teamwork depends on it.
Okay, let's talk about something visible. Professional attire. What's the take?
Align attire with the corporate culture. Shows respect for standards, helps you fit in. Research expectations beforehand.
Well-fitted clothing enhances confidence, project's neatness. Avoid baggy or overly tight stuff.
Neutral colors, subtle patterns generally maintain a sophisticated look.
Ensure shoes are polished, shows attention to detail. Grooming matters too tidy hair, minimal accessories. Moderation is key for jewelry, makeup.
Layering helps adapt to temperatures. Understanding business casual norms, chinos, dress pants, crisp shirts is important. Check invites for specific dress codes.
Investing in quality basics can save money long-term. Durable, classic pieces last. Keep spares tie, blouse at the office for emergencies.
Avoid strong fragrances. A courtesy to sensitive colleagues. Subtle or fragrance-free is safer.
Ultimately, confidence comes from feeling comfortable and appropriate. Well-chosen outfits let you focus on work, not worry about your look.
Adjust to norms, but retain some personal style. Enhances authenticity. Consistent dress sense helps colleagues see you as dependable, prepared.
Right. Reliability in appearance often signals reliability in performance. Attention to detail underscores diligence, shows you respect the environment.
How about managing time effectively? The etiquette around that precious resource.
Start simple. Arrive punctually for meetings. Fundamental respect for others' time. Keep schedules on track. Lateness is disruptive.
Prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. Focus on what's critical. Avoids wasting effort.
Allocate specific time blocks for email, calls. Improves concentration, avoids constant switching. Multitasking actually reduces efficiency, the sources say.
Use scheduling tools, calendars, reminders. Basic, but essential for tracking deadlines. Break large projects into smaller milestones. Makes progress feel manageable, motivating. Delegate when feasible. Frees up your time. Trust colleagues. Fosters teamwork.
Avoid perfectionism on trivial tasks. Know when good enough is okay. Saves energy for high-impact work.
Build buffer periods between meetings. Accommodates delays, prevents being constantly late. Structure your day with realistic goals. Avoids frustration.
Quick priority review each morning keeps you aligned with changing demands.
Schedule short breaks. Boosts mental clarity, prevents burnout. And learn to say no politely. Guards against overload, protects quality.
Finish tasks ahead of time when possible. Demonstrates reliability. Review completed tasks weekly to evaluate efficiency, refine strategies.
Mastering time management elevates your standing, shows respect for your constraints, and, crucially, others.
Exactly. Everyone benefits when time is used efficiently. Solidifies trust.
Okay, tackling something delicate.
Yeah.
Giving and receiving feedback.
Valuable insights here. Deliver feedback tactfully. Goal is improvement without damaging morale or relationships. Maybe start with a positive observation. Softens criticism.
Focus on behavior or outcomes, not personal traits. Crucial. Separates actions from identity, maintains respect.
Offer specific examples. Vague feedback is useless. Concrete examples clarify what needs adjusting.
And suggest actionable solutions. Shows supportive intent, helps them know how to improve, signals cooperation, not judgment.
Maintain a calm, neutral tone. Prevents defensive reactions.
Balance critiques with recognizing strengths, fosters confidence alongside growth, acknowledging achievements keeps motivation high.
Timing is important. Prompt feedback stops issues festering. Correct course quickly.
Invite their perspective. A two-way dialogue respects their experience, promotes understanding.
And avoid public embarrassment. Discuss sensitive feedback privately. Encourages honesty, vulnerability needed for growth.
Offering resources or training shows genuine support for their development, boosts morale.
Check for understanding. Prevents misinterpretation. Summarize agreements to clarify responsibilities.
Maintain objectivity. Keeps it fair, reduces bias accusations. Consistent standards matter.
Schedule follow-up. Confirms progress. Addresses ongoing challenges. Acknowledge small steps forward. Motivates continued effort.
The sources really emphasize that delivering criticism with empathy transforms feedback into a learning opportunity.
Respectful honesty paves the way for development, boosts the whole organization.
Office politics. Ugh. How do the sources suggest navigating this minefield?
Top recommendation: stay neutral. Preserves relationships across the board. Aligning with one faction alienates others.
Focus on shared goals, not personal agendas. Diffuses power struggles. Emphasizes team success. Fosters unity.
Avoid gossip and rumors like the plague. Spreading unverified info escalates tension and seriously damages your credibility.
Speak well of others when they're not there. Shows integrity. Build a constructive culture.
Address conflicts directly with those involved. Don't let things fester or bring in others unnecessarily. Resolves issues faster.
Document important decisions, agreements. Simple but ensures transparency, fairness. Deters blame shifting.
Cultivate genuine alliances across departments. Broadens resources, perspective. Reduces silos, fosters collaboration.
Credit others for contributions. Fosters goodwill, mutual respect, counters resentment.
Steer clear of back-channel deals. Secret agreements breed suspicion, erode trust.
Set boundaries politely. Prevents manipulation, preserves your focus and credibility.
Handle sensitive information with utmost discretion. Confidentiality builds trust with colleagues and leadership. Voice opinions respectfully, acknowledging different perspectives exist. Reduces polarization, keeps discussions focused. Focus on facts and solutions, not entrenched personal positions. Keeps things productive. Objective reasoning guides toward beneficial outcomes.
Praising leadership decisions publicly, when deserved, shows professionalism. Genuine support fosters trust from above.
And maintain consistent transparency in your own actions. Prevents suspicion. An honest, open approach is often the best way to diffuse politics around you.
Last key area, negotiation etiquette.
Preparation is fundamental here. Know your objectives, possible concessions, and research the other party's needs and constraints. Reveals leverage, helps find solutions that work for them too.
Define your non-negotiables and ideal outcomes beforehand. Clarifies boundaries, prevents being pressured.
Open with a collaborative tone. Aim for win-win from the start. Showing respect encourages reciprocal consideration.
Actively listen, ask clarifying questions. Uncovers hidden priorities, underlying interests. helps craft mutually beneficial solutions.
Use data, case studies to strengthen your position. Factual support is hard to argue against.
Aim for balanced trade, fosters goodwill for future interactions. Extreme demands damage relationships.
Offer multiple proposals. Gives options, sparks creative compromise. Understand cultural differences in negotiation styles, direct versus indirect. Being aware prevents misunderstandings.
Pace the conversation deliberately. Avoid rushing. Strategic pauses allow reflection, assessment.
Maintain calm demeanor under pressure. Project's confidence helps clear thinking. If stalled, suggest a break or summarize agreed points. Re-energizes talks.
Tactful communication is essential. Harsh language escalates tension, kills dialogue.
Be flexible, yet firm. Flexible on minor points, firm on essentials. Protect key objectives while accommodating where you can. Help seal the deal.
Finalize terms in writing. Crucial for clarity, avoids disputes later.
And express gratitude at the conclusion. Fosters goodwill for future collaborations. Ending positively strengthens relationships.
Wow, okay. We have really covered a ton of ground. This deep dive definitely pulled some powerful insights from that source material on business communication etiquette.
Yeah, we went from first impressions, meetings, presentations, networking, through email, phone, handling complaints, cultural awareness, attire, time management, feedback, office politics, right up to negotiation. It's a lot.
And it's clear these aren't just, random rules. They're practices that actively build trust, strengthen relationships. They really contribute to your overall success and credibility.
Absolutely. So for you listening, whether you're prepping for something specific or just want to sharpen your skills, this deep dive gives you that shortcut to being well-informed.
It really highlights how that consistency in applying these things makes such a huge difference over time.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you to chew on. How's that consistent effort and all these seemingly small everyday interactions, the polite interruption, the clear email, being on time, really listening, how does all that build a reputation for reliability, for cooperation, that pays dividends far beyond any single transaction or project?